It was in my blood. My mom's a teacher, my grandma's a teacher, and I just always knew I was going to be a teacher. When I came to Edinboro, I was like, I'm going to be a teacher when I come here, and it's what I love, and I have no qualms with being a teacher, but I just always never thought anything different.
I just want to make sure that everyone knows like how appreciative of the support that Penn West Clarion and my coaches and professors, how much they realize that we, not only me, but all of my classmates, how much we appreciate them.
Bold ideas, inspiring stories, dynamic experiences. I'm your host, Dr. John Anderson, president of PennWest. Welcome to the Power of PennWest podcast. Welcome back to the Power of PennWest podcast. Today is the second part of a two-part series with our May 2026 PennWest commencement student speakers. Just like last week's episode, today celebrates transformation, the journey from uncertain beginnings to confident leadership. Our guests embody what happens when passion is met with resilience, when service fuels purpose, and when perseverance shapes impact. From classroom to athletics, advocacy, and campus leadership, these students have not only found their voices, they've used them to lift others. Let us meet today's guests. First, Kendal Mumaw is a senior earning dual degrees in secondary education, social studies, and PK-12 special education. A summa cum laude graduate from PennWest Edinboro, a campus leader and president of the National Panhellenic Council, she is deeply committed to inclusive, student-centered teaching. Through hands-on classroom experience and education advocacy, Kendal is preparing to begin her career as a special education teacher who empowers every learner to succeed. Kendal, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for fitting us in right after what seems to be a successful job interview. Congratulations.
Well, hey, thank you.
Next, we have Kaylee Egler, who is a senior at PennWest Clarion majoring in economics with a minor in pre-law, recognized for her academic excellence and consistent Dean's List achievement. A dedicated student athlete on the women's cross country and track teams, she also serves as vice president of the Student Senate. Passionate about advocacy and service, Kaylee is preparing for a future career in law focused on meaningful impact. Kaylee, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I've been looking forward to this conversation with the two of you as you prepare to graduate. Before we jump into the conversation about graduation and your commencement speeches, let's go back just a little bit to the time when you were a high school junior or senior somewhere trying to figure out the rest of your life. How did you pick a PennWest campus? Kaylee, walk us through your decision-making process.
So actually, I took a couple visits to Clarion, and I think it was during COVID. There was like nobody here. It's during the summer. And I was like, oh, this is a really nice area. I love like walking by like Eagle Commons and seeing like the trees like right there was so nice. And then I took my official visit in the fall of that year. It was right as ALF or Autumn Leaf Festival was wrapping up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this place is so awesome.
Like
And
it's like this
I
every weekend, right, Al?
yeah, I was like, this is gonna be like clearing every weekend. But no, I really liked the girls on the team at the time, and I was like, really felt that family connection that like the cross country and track team had, and just felt that this would be a place that really supported me and welcomed me as a new student and with a new like place and everything.
Excellent. Thank you. And where's your hometown? Where did you visit from?
I'm from Northwest Ohio. The town I'm from is called Tiffin, Ohio. So they have a couple universities out there, but I was wanting to get away from home for a little bit, but can't wait to go back now.
That's great. Kendall, tell us about your decision to make Penn West home.
Yeah, so I had looked at a couple different universities, and I know I've told this story before, but my grandma actually went to Edinboro, and you always have that little bird in the back of your ear saying, go to Edinboro when you have an alumni in the family. So I came up and I had driven through here one time, and I remember always driving down, passing all the buildings, and just thinking, this is so gorgeous. It was in the middle of summer, and all the trees were all green, and it was gorgeous. And obviously, it's not like that all the time. But I'm coming back to when I was making my decision. I came up twice, and I said, "Oh, I'm going here." It was a mix of the beautiful place that Edinboro is, with Edinboro Lake, and then Mallory Lake on campus, and then I loved the small town feel and how close knit everything was. And I just knew that this was gonna be my home for at least 4 years, and we'll see how much longer. But I just loved it here, and I knew it was the place for me.
Thank you, Kendall. And remind us, where are you from?
I'm from Monaca, Pennsylvania, so about half hour north of Pittsburgh.
Excellent. Very good. And you're right, both those campuses, in addition to California, are just beautiful. When you pull
Mhm.
on, the green space is incredible. It's a great space to sit and think when you're not studying in the library cramming. So now that you're at the end of your bachelor's degree experience, I'm curious to know how each of you selected your fields of study. Kendall, how did you decide teaching was going to be your path?
It was in my blood. My mom's a teacher, my grandma's a teacher, and I just always knew I was going to be a teacher. When I came to Edinboro, I was like, I'm going to be a teacher when I come here, and it's what I love, and I have no qualms with being a teacher, but I just always never thought anything different. I've had so many people where they don't know what they're going to do, and I'm like, hey, let's maybe teaching's for you. So I always knew I was going to be a teacher, and Edinboro is the perfect place to get that degree.
I couldn't agree more. It's an outstanding education program. And talk to us about the dual major in secondary education, studies, and special education. How did you pick both of those fields?
I knew no matter what field I went to, I wanted to get special education. That's my passion. But I wanted to also get a general ed certification just because it opens some more doors. I'm not sure that Penn West offers this certification anymore, but I know that they still have elementary ed and special ed dual cert, which is another amazing way to open more doors in your career. Going through special ed first, you're gonna get a job. The job market is perfect place to be right now for a special ed major, and graduate with a special ed degree. And it's so many places are like, you're a special ed, that's amazing, but you also have the general ed certification. It just helps so much.
Yes, couldn't agree more. Kaylee, talk to us. You got an interesting set of majors. You've navigated that pretty well. Talk us through how you merge economics and pre-law and what your next steps might be.
So actually, when I started here at Clarion, I was a nursing major and I loved it. I love nursing and then like learning about everything. And then we actually started doing the simulations and I was like, whoa, uh, I can't do this on like I can barely do this on a mannequin. I don't think I can do this on a person. So I wanted to still be like an advocate for somebody, be somebody's voice, help people, and just a thought that I've always had in the back of my head was pursuing a career in law and eventually, hopefully, one day being an attorney. And so I basically got on my computer one day when I was a sophomore and was like, best degrees to get for pre-law, but not just pre-law degree. And one of them was economics, and I was like, sounds good to me. I like wanted to like kind of be a little bit finance-ish, be able to go that way if like law school and stuff didn't work out, and I would still have a degree to like fall back on. But right now, I'm actually have a job interview tomorrow for a law firm in Pittsburgh to be a paralegal there. So we'll see how that goes. But I think I'm gonna take a gap year and build my resume up, get maybe some experience, and then reapply to law schools.
That sounds like a great path forward. And I bet you're glad you figured out that a bedside nurse is not where you want to end up if you
Yeah,
finish the degree.
yeah, yeah. I was like, I called my mom and she was like, yeah, Kaylee, I don't think you're gonna be able to like even go to clinical. I was like, yeah, I don't think so either. I need to change this. So
I think that's one of those powerful parts of experiential learning is
Mm-hmm.
while you're in the classroom, you see what it's like. I've known people who go out on a teaching internship for the first time and they've been gung ho, I'm going to be a teacher forever. And then partway through the day, they're like, this is not for me. And I've seen people do the opposite too. They
Mm-hmm.
go teaching for the first time and fall in love and change their major from whatever to education. It's fun to see people find their path that direction. So, what was it like for you when you were invited to be a commencement speaker? That is a significant honor at the end of your undergraduate experience. Kaylee, how did you find out you were selected?
Well, so I got an email from Mr. Schaefer, and he was like, "Hey, I think you should apply for this. Your speech for running for vice president was really good. I think you would be good at this." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do it. I'll apply." And then I applied, and then I emailed Missy, and she was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, you've been selected as the commencement speaker." And I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. Like, so it kind of hit me though, because I was like not really nervous to do it. And then she was like, you've been selected. And I was like, oh, I'm a little nervous now, but I'll be okay.
That's great. Kendall, how did you learn you were selected to speak?
Well, I think mine was a little bit different from that. I knew I wanted to do it when I went and I saw my friend was the commencement speaker last fall. So she graduated in the fall and spoke at there. So I was like, oh, I kind of want to do this. And then so whenever it was time for us to start thinking even about graduation, I saw on my PennWest like an application to be the commencement speaker. So I applied, I interviewed even. And whenever I got the email that I was selected, I just felt honored. I was so excited. I've always been really, really good at public speaking. I love kind of the like adrenaline rush of public speaking. So whenever I learned that it was going to be me, I couldn't have been more excited.
That's excellent. And so, once you found out you were going to speak, even before that, you had to prepare your talk. How do you go through the process of figuring out the message that you want your peers to hear from you on the most significant day of their undergraduate experience? Kaylee, how did you prepare that talk and what was your thought process?
I kind of just sat down and like thought about everything that's happened while I've been at Clarion and like my friends and like how what everyone meant to me. And I just was like, I just want to make sure that everyone knows like how appreciative of the support that Penn West Clarion and my coaches and professors, how much they realize that not only me, but all of my classmates, how much we appreciate them as they don't have to give us like more than they choose to. They just do their job and are really just great professors all around and coaches.
Thanks, Kaylee. And Kendall, how did you prepare your remarks?
Similar to Kaylee, I had like kind of two thought process. I wanted to make sure I was able to thank the people that helped me and all my other graduates along the way, professors and I made sure I thanked family just because I mean, like Kaylee said, with her mom saying you're not going to be a nurse, like some of those hard conversations come straight from family. So made sure I thanked my family and people I met here, all my friends, my sorority sisters. And then I also wanted to make it known, like, college is something that you look forward to for so long in your life, and then you get here and you're like, not everything's going to be perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect, 4 perfect years where you have the the best grades and the best friends and everything. There's going to be hard times, and that's what got us through it. That's what make brought you here today to graduate with your degree. So I made sure I mentioned like your friends got you along the way, your people you met, your family that you found here, your family at home, everyone who came together to help you get here, to thank them for everything.
That's excellent. So I'm curious, I've listened to a lot of commencement addresses over the decades, and they're always interesting. And I remember a lot of them. Are you preparing this as if it's going to be a passionate speech or like an emotional, heartfelt speech? A little bit of all of those things, a shocking declaration about the future. What is your approach, Kendall?
I have to say, I have a little bit of humor in there. I get some laughs. I want to see if I can make everyone laugh. But definitely, like honestly, like a thank you and thanking my fellow graduates and the people that I became best friends along the way. And then there's some heartfelt stuff in there for sure. But I wanted some laughs.
Kaylee, what about you? What's your approach? What's this going to be like?
I really think that I start tearing up almost every time. I'm
Mhm.
like, this is just so emotional. Like when I was a senior in high school and I would give my senior speeches, then everyone was a mess. But I was just like, we need to make this more funny. And I was like, I need some other stuff in here because, like, if I get up there and just go so emotional, I'm gonna cry and be a mess. But there might be a few tears, but hopefully everything will be fine.
See
Oh,
if
I'm
I
sure
can make my
you
parents cry.
Yeah.
will. Hand out the tissues on the way in, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if you could go back to your time as a freshman, what advice would you give yourself now, having lived through the college experience, university experience, you're graduating, you're successful? If you could talk to yourself 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was that you started, what advice would you give yourself? Kaylee?
I would tell her to take a deep breath. Like, everything is gonna be fine. I was such a mess. Like, I would be on the phone with my mom being like, I'm coming home. I don't like this place. And she'd be like, what are you gonna do when you come home? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, oh, getting emotional. But no, I just was definitely like really overwhelmed and just take a deep breath. Just like, but yeah, that's my answer.
That's great advice for every freshman,
Yep.
including the 4 year younger Kaylee when you stepped on campus the first time. Kendall, what's that advice you would give to your freshman self?
I would say don't hold yourself back. I think my freshman and kind of a little bit of sophomore year, I was kind of in my room, in my dorm room, not putting myself out there as much as I wish I had freshman and sophomore year. Because to this day, I'm like, I wonder if I would have joined Zeta freshman year, what could have happened, or if I would have become a CA earlier, what would have happened. I think I'm very grateful for the way that my college planned out or happened. But I'm curious as to if I would have done all those things first semester, freshman year, what would my life look like now? So I definitely say don't hold yourself back, put yourself out there.
That is also great advice. Can the two of you think back to some pivotal moments over the last few years when you had a conversation with a professor, maybe you got a good or a bad grade on something that changed your trajectory? Kaylee, you've told us about your switch in major. Are
Yeah.
there any other moments that you'd like to reflect on for a minute? Kendall, let's start with you.
Yeah, the one class I had was in emotional behavioral disorders and specific learning disabilities with Dr. Benson here at Edinboro, and it was two people in the class. And that class made me fall in love with special ed and know that that's what I wanted to do. So, I wasn't necessarily one specific conversation, but he's such a great professor being able to learn literally it was conversations. There was two kids in the class. So being able to learn from him and know that that's what I wanted to do with my life and to go into special ed is one of the most powerful things that's happened in class here.
That's excellent. Kaylee, what about you? Moments that you can reflect on that you are grateful for?
When I first changed my major, actually, it kind of happened again where I was in intro to micro and I took the first test and did not do good at it on it at all. And I was like, did I just screw up? Like did I like because I had a 4.0 in nursing, like I was doing good, like I just didn't like it. And I was like, wait, like this is not good. But I started going to Dr. Woodburn's office hours and really like changed the way that like I thought about school and stuff like that. And I did like what I was learning. I just didn't know how to like I guess study what I was learning at the time. So he really helped me change my thinking process. And I continued and now I'm gonna graduate with my economics degree.
That's great. And congratulations. So, as we prepare to wrap this up, is there anything you're not going to miss about your university experience? You're like, I just don't want to ever do that again.
Mm.
Kendall?
already don't experience it, but dorm life is hard. It's tough to get through, but I mean, you got to do it for 2 years. I loved being a CA, but just whenever you're in the mix of being in dorm life, it's tough.
Yeah, very good. And Kaylee?
I'd probably have to say the same. I think even though I loved Suites on Main South, that's where I lived my freshman year. I just wasn't ever used to being in a room like so small, I guess, and that was like where I lived, and I was like that was my home, I guess, in a sense. But once you get through the dorms, everything works out, even though they're really nice, and I think we
I was
have,
gonna say they're so nice, but
yeah,
it's
like they're
hard
really
living
nice.
with people when you
My
never have.
Yeah.
Yep. My brother's about to be a freshman, and I'm like, oh, you have to share your room? Because I had like the two suite one in South. So I was like, I still have my own room, but I'm like, couldn't imagine.
Well, I'm glad both of you made it through that process, that educational experience, we'll call it. It's so fun to talk to you about your commencement speeches. I look forward to seeing you at graduation. I wish the best to both of you as you take your next step, and thanks for making PennWest part of your journey.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining the
Thanks.
Power of PennWest podcast today. It's been great to talk to you.